Right folks, we are on the Dupplin estate just to the west of Perth, and we're having a wee nosy of what we can see to the north, and for good reason. Here's Breck again, let's get it zoomed out a bit. That's better. We are having a look at a line of fortifications, like a frontier line of the Roman Empire here in Scotland, called the Gask Ridge. And looking at your Ordnance Survey map, you'll see there's a little line of Roman signal stations. So this must have been like the early warning system for the Romans on their frontier facing the savages to the north, my ancient ancestors, the Picts and their friends. So that's what we're doing today. So I'm just actually left the little road, which is actually known as the Roman Road, and it's quite straight, so it must have been given that name for a reason. I'm just having a little wander northwards just to see what we can see from the Gask Ridge, to give us an idea of what the ancient Roman occupiers of this ancient land could see to the north. Join me in a minute. Okay, I've just made it to the north end of the woods, and it certainly has a panorama right looking towards the Highland line there in the distance. So this must have been a strategically important place to keep an eye on for our Roman legionaries on the frontier. So it's starting to make sense. Alright, we're having a little excursion. While I'm in this area, I'm quite interested in having a nosy at Dupplin Loch, which is just through these woods in the Dupplin estate. So we're going to head down that away in front of me through the woods. We shoot at a track, walk along it for a wee bit, then a little tracker will take us down to the loch, according to the trusty Ordnance Survey map. Right, let's have a look. Well, here we are, we've made it to Dupplin Loch, going through some thick undergrowth, and I think once the summer comes and the plants are growing, this is going to be almost impassable with bracken and brambles. It was hard enough just walking through last year's dead growth, but it was worth it. What a lovely little loch. Swans gracefully gliding on the water. And in the background behind me there's a boathouse, so they must use this for their fishing as well. It's an active estate, so they've got to use it as best they can. But this is a lovely spot of woodland, so I'm impressed. They seem to be managing it very well. So I'm glad I came here for a wee wander to Dupplin Loch. But today's all about Romans and Roman signal stations. So the next stop, we'll head back again to the car, head down the Roman road for about a mile, and we should see the remains of what was a Roman signal station. And I think there might be some information there. That's the next stop. Breck, you're getting impatient. We've got to go. Breck's getting bored. Alrighty folks, back in the car again. Now we're heading down the road, the Roman road. Just past actually is an old signal station just here, but we're going to the sort of best site along this stretch of road where they have a properly designated site by Historic Scotland, or whatever it is known these days. So I'm just down this road. As you can see, it's a very straight road, so it has a Roman feel to it. But I'm sure those Roman engineers now and again had to cope with a little curve or two. But we'll be there pretty quickly. Just a couple of minutes. Okay, so just out the car, just parked it, and we're just walking down this lovely little track for a few hundred metres, and then we should see the site of the Roman signal station. I've seen this on maps for years. Since I was a kid, I've always been interested in maps, and I remember specifically looking at these signal stations and wondering what the heck were they all about. Well, I'm finally going to find out. Lead the way, Breck! Protected place, no metal detecting. Ooh, well, here we are, and this is a very impressive site, and I'll show you in a second what it looks like for reality, but it's bigger than I expected. And I like this little illustration and board tail information board. It's well done. I'll give you a wee couple of paragraphs from it. Muraffold Roman watchtower. In the far north of their empire, the Romans built this watchtower as part of a defence network known today as the Gask frontier. Serving as observation points, this line of watchtowers was the first example in Britain of an artificial border under permanent surveillance. The Roman invasion of Scotland in AD 79, the Roman army marched into southern Scotland led by Gnaeus Julius Agricola. The peoples whom he encountered could do little to resist. However, the tribes beyond the Tay were a different prospect. The Roman writer Tacitus describes the first recorded account of a battle on Scottish soil at Mons Gropius, possibly in Aberdeenshire, in AD 83. So, there you have it. Romans in Perthshire. Well, here we are at the old site itself, and certainly the old earthworks in the ditch are still very evident, and the old ditch is a bog now, so it certainly shows how deep it was. And then you've got the little central part here. It's amazing to think that some legionary or auxiliary posted to the furthest reaches of the world to them would be standing here in a cold Scottish winter, looking to their fort to their left and their right, because there's a whole string of these forts about a kilometre apart, so they could see each other, keeping a watch on the frontier. I don't think they were here that long, probably only manned for about 10 years before the Romans thought, yeah, not a great idea, it's not worth it, too much hassle. These Scots, Picts, whatever they called them back in the day, Caledonians, and all the signal stations were abandoned, but still left a mark in history and on the very earth of beautiful Persia. Hey Breck? Yes, he agrees. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me again on just a little adventure. Again in Perthshire today. It had a Roman theme, so I really enjoyed having a good old nosy about, investigating the ancient history that is on our doorsteps. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you tuning in and spending some of your time to watch my videos. I hope you find them interesting. If you like it, give us a wee thumbs up, and you might even consider subscribing if you'd be so very kind. Otherwise, enjoy the videos and I'll be back real soon. So for me, Balaban, Ricky, who's out the picture, check in, out.